Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday Nights with Faye Seidler. This is a show about generally community news all across our state to give you information, to inspire, to direct you to things. That's what we do. We have fun here. There's been a lot of national news and attention to the big budget bill that has been passed. I'm not going to really talk about that since there's so many more better and other sources for it. And if you follow my socials, you'll get an idea of my feelings. But tonight we're going to talk about good things in North Dakota, or at least things you can do, or information, all of that stuff. It'll be fun. The first thing is the United Way Day of Action coming up July 10th. This is happening between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m. and is an invitation for basically anyone and everyone, groups or individuals, to volunteer in their community in Grand Forks. United Way typically has events like this, days like this, kind of across our region that you can get involved with. Volunteering is a great way to feel connected to and contribute to your community, and it is one of the best resiliencies against some of the despair we might feel based on the news we hear today. So I really recommend if you're in the Grand Forks area to get involved with it. It's generally going to be a good experience, a good time, and good for everyone. So don't isolate, volunteer. That's an opportunity to do so. If you're in the Fargo area on July 10th, you have an opportunity yourself to do a point-in-time count. This will be under the FM Coalition to End Homelessness. A point-in-time count is an assessment of all the people in your community currently experiencing homelessness. That's not an easy thing to necessarily arrive at because not all people who are experiencing homelessness are necessarily using the shelters or benefiting from the services that do track that kind of thing. So a point-in-time count allows our city and administrators to have a good time of the actual experiences happening. But to do that, they need help, and you can volunteer with them locally in Fargo on July 10th. There are several times and places that you can volunteer and sign up for, but they need your help. So that's another opportunity. Volunteer, don't isolate. Do you know another thing that makes us feel resilient? Celebrating other people, gratitude. Gratitude is a centering force of resiliency because it makes us feel less alone. Don't isolate, find community and celebrate. And you can celebrate a champion of the LGBTQ plus community by nominating them as the Grand Marshal. This is something that will be due by July 14th, but if you know someone across the Fargo-Moorhead community that you would like to nominate because they do outstanding work, they've made you feel safe or better in your life, you should nominate them. So please consider that. Please consider nominating someone, and even if they aren't elected as the Grand Marshal, that doesn't matter. What matters is you told them that you appreciated them and you put a submission forward. So it's a win for anyone who gets nominated and the people nominating them. When people talk about Faye, they often talk about how I have something for everyone, and I do. And if you don't want to nominate someone for the LG Plus Grand Marshal Award, completely fine, because I have an opportunity for you to nominate a champion for youth. You can nominate a hero of the month that will be recognized by Red River Child Advocacy Center. Typically, your heroes of the month are people who contribute to youth and youth safety in very profound ways all across our community, but what that can mean is probably a little bit different. Maybe it's food security, maybe it's preventing abuse, maybe it's providing hope and support. I don't know, but you might. And if you have someone that you feel is doing great service to keep our youth safe in our community, that is an opportunity to celebrate them. Again, don't isolate, celebrate people, and show gratitude. It makes us feel less alone. That's what we do on my news show. We talk about how to keep hopeful. That's not usually the function of news. It could be, though. In good news, trans people are able to get passports again, maybe. So there was a ruling within one of our courts that basically said that trans individuals do have the right to change the sex they have on their passport, and the current administration does have to grant passport changes for trans folks. Currently, the ACLU is duking it out with the courts to make sure that's the case. However, there has been contention with people trying to get their passports changed and that not happening. As far as we know right now, trans individuals are legally allowed to do so, should be allowed to do so, and the government is saying no to you. You should probably talk to the ACLU about it. But for now, it's a win for trans folks to correctly identify and be safe across the journey of their life. It's a good thing when trans people can be safe. Trust me on that one. In other interesting and good and political and ethical news, that's rare, you'll get all those, especially in North Dakota, the Ethics Commission ruled that you can use campaign fundings for child support as part of your campaign. This is good because it does open the door for more parents in particular to run for office while being able to afford the cost of childcare while they do so. It is an enormous amount of time and effort to run for office or to serve office, where it's a huge burden and cost to make sure that your kids are supported while doing so. And it really limits the amount of people who can actually run. This allows so many more people to potentially run for office, especially folks who have kids in school, because it would sure be nice if we had more representatives that were living that life right now. We do have a lot of parents in both the Senate and House for North Dakota. 76% of our lawmakers are parents, according to research someone did, Faye Seidler, someone like that. I don't know. It was good research, though. It was the only one of its kind, and it had glaring holes because the researcher found that there is no good way to get any of this information. She rose alarms to people, and they said, sure does sound bad, and then here we are today. It was a fun story. Anyways, and for your last bit of news, as a prudent news girl who covers all sides of every issue because I am fair and balanced, trademark. that's not trademark. It's not my thing. Like, that was a joke, but I feel like even the parody version of that it's now very much owned by other people. So that was a joke. I just want to give you the resolutions from the Grand Old Party of North Dakota. A lot of them are covered by Indy Monitor in an article showcasing, or actually an opinion piece by their editor, showcasing the stark focus on specifically LG plus individuals and anti-LG plus movements. And not just broader notions of, let's say, library censorship, but particularly that we should censor LG plus content from schools, is throughout all of the resolutions that you can. I think it's important to look at these because you can then get a look at what the party intends to do. And then you can, if you agree with these goals or align to them, you can vote more people following these party resolutions into office. If you disagree with them, maybe you'll vote for someone else. Maybe you agree on some of them, but would like to criticize them on other points. You can do that. It's extremely important for everyone to know where people stand on policy and issue, especially in politics. And while not every Republican might necessarily believe the litany of resolutions, this is a good standing point to ask, well, do you believe this stuff? And looking through them, I can tell you there's probably a couple things that I would say look kind of cool. I kind of like that. A lot of things I think I don't really agree with at all and think that they are not good and maybe a little silly and harmful to certain communities, but at least they're out there for me to read and look at, and I value that because I value participation in democracy. I value people have different opinions. I value the plurality of our society and respect that people have different feelings about the world than I do, and the world shouldn't run like I think it should run. It should run as a consensus of a lot of us trying to find the best for everyone. That's my belief. So you can check out those resolutions and see where they are on this stuff. So I just want to give you awareness of that. You can do it and then complain. We're North Dakotan. Like, what else are you going to do? That's what I got for my show tonight. The last thing I'm going to do, and maybe just kind of do this every time, is that I have 2 newsletters that go out frequently. The Good News, or the Oops Only Good News newsletter, which is every Monday. Good news for you. And I also have the Under Umbrella newsletter, which is all your LG Plus specific news. I also do a few other ones, but those are kind of like big hitters for people to sign on and get some really good information. If you're a nonprofit or if you do nonprofit work, healthcare, social work, education, I have a monthly newsletter that's going to be a really good source for you. I will be honest, if you follow my content, you kind of get a different feel for me if I'm on, let's say, Instagram or Facebook or in my newsletters or here. And my level of personality and how much I put into different spaces is different. I respect some people don't want a lot of my personality, but they like my work. I want to help you get to that work and ignore me. And that's a big part of what I try to do with separating a lot of my content. So if there are things that you like that I do, but you don't like me, I'm okay with that. Just, we'll figure something out. Talk to me. I'll make sure you get the good information without me attached to it, if that makes sense. Good branding, Faye, good promotion. But that's how much it matters to me, that you are able to access and benefit from the stuff that I do in any way that I can. So that's what I have for my show tonight. If you like my work at all, you can always contribute to my Patreon, which is where a lot of my funding comes from to continue to be an activist across North Dakota. That's something I particularly like because it means that my boss is always going to be the community, and they are who I serve in everything that I do. So thank you again for joining me tonight on this glorious Sunday night, and I hope you have a good rest of your week. I'll see you next week.